Welcome to my channel, The Golden Stitch. My name is Alejandra and I'm a Mexican living in Scotland. And today I am sharing with you 15 beginner-friendly cardigan patterns. I hope you're doing well. In this channel, I am documenting my journey as a beginner knitter, and today I want to share with you some patterns that I find inspiring. So let's get started with the sweater I'm wearing today. This is the Stripe Hype sweater by Veronica Lindberg, or Kutowakika, and it's the very first sweater I have ever knitted. I completed it in the month of January, and I actually have a full project vlog documenting the whole process, so it is on my channel, so you can go ahead and watch it if you haven't done so already. But I've been thinking about starting my first cardigan, and I've been immersed in Ravelry in beautiful patterns. Perhaps you're also a beginner knitter, or you're just looking to cast on a cardigan that is simple and it's not too complicated, that can take your mind away. And if that is the case, this video might be for you. I have a collection of 15 patterns that are ranging from simple stockinette to a little bit of texture, some simple lace, a little bit of cables and some others. So it's a variety of different patterns, and also some of them are free. So I hope you can find at least one pattern that you like. And I have a collection of 15 patterns that I have created a bundle for in Ravelry. I will share the link in the description box below, so check it out. And now, full disclosure, I haven't knitted any of these patterns. These are based on the patterns that I've been looking at to be my first cardigan. But I have been looking at the notes, at the difficulty level, and other people creating these projects to base this list on, and that is why I have labeled them as beginner friendly. So I hope that is accurate. I hope you find this video inspiring. Grab your drink, grab your project, and let's get started. Now, excuse if you see me looking down the whole time, but I'm looking at my computer where I have all the patterns and all my notes, so I can share important details with you. But the first pattern that I decided to share with you is no other but the Step-by-Step Cardigan by Florence Miller. This is a very popular pattern, and for good reason. It provides a full tutorial of, as the name suggests, the step-by-step guide of doing this cardigan. It is a classic raglan, and it is a pay what you want pattern. What it means is that you can pay full price, or you can also use the discount codes available in the Ravelry page that provide you with a 50 or 100% code. I can't remember if it also has like a 10%, but essentially it has 2 or 3 different discount codes that you can use, so you can decide how much you think is fair to pay. I think this is a very generous thing that Florence Miller does. She has a few patterns that are either available for free or pay as you want, because she wants everyone in the knitting community to be able to try out her patterns first and see if you like her style of writing patterns, and also because she wants beginners to start trying knitting with fun, classic patterns like this one. Now, this is an Aran weight pattern. It uses 5.5 millimeters or US 9 needles for the main stockinette part, and 4.5 or US 7 for the ribbon, and then for the ribbon on the sleeves and the hem, and then also a 4 millimeter or US 6 for the double knitting button band. It comes in nice sizes, ranging from 75 centimeters to 155 centimeters of bust size, and the suggested ease is 15 centimeters of positive ease. The suggested yarn for this one is this beautiful, gorgeous speckled Noro Madara yarn, which is a combination of 60% wool, 30% silk, and 10% alpaca. But this is a kind of more expensive yarn, so she also has a more budget-friendly suggestion, which is the Drops Alaska or Drops Alpaca. And this pattern comes in only in English. And next we have a it might look like a similar pattern because it's using the same suggested yarn, but it actually has a very different construction. And it is no other but also the very popular Lakes Cardigan by Osera. This Lakes Cardigan is worked from the top down. The saddle shoulder provide an oversized fit while contributing with a structural touch to the cardigan. It features a timeless, shallow V-neck, making it versatile wardrobe essential for any occasion. I think the saddle shoulder touch makes this a very nice fit, and it comes in a bulky weight because it is combining the suggested yarn, the Noro Mandara, held together with an alpaca Isager yarn alpaca 1. So that comes, instead of an iron weight like the previous pattern, it is more of a bulky weight, which means the suggested needles for this one are 5.5 millimeters or US 9 and for the main stockinette part, and then 5 millimeter or US 8 for the button band and the ribbon sections. It comes in 10 sizes, and it ranges from 71 centimeters or 28 inches to 152 centimeters or 60 inches for bust size. And the recommended ease is 25.5 centimeters or 10 and 1/4 inches, which is quite oversized. And it also comes in 7 available languages: English, Spanish, Danish, French, German, Italian, and Swedish. Next, I have this pattern in case you are too intimidated by double knitted button bands. So this is the Lovisa Cardigan by Ingrid Dibb. It is a beautiful classic oversized cardigan that has some shoulder details that go all the way down also to the body. And it uses raglan increases, and the button band is using this double knit instead of double knitting, if that makes sense. It's the rib double knit. And it's a worsted weight. And the suggested needles for these are 4.5 millimeters or US 7 for the main stockinette part, and then 3.5 or US 4 for the ribbon and the button band. It comes in only 4 sizes available, unfortunately, ranging for the final size garments from 115 centimeters or 45.25 inches to 142 centimeters or 55 inches. And the recommended ease for this one is 25 to 35 centimeters. The recommended yarn for this one is the Luna Namel yarn, which is 100% wool, but you can also use any other worsted weight yarn of your preference. And this pattern is available in English and Norwegian. I have seen this beautiful cardigan knitted by another YouTuber. I put her channel there, so she has talked about this cardigan only positive things, and I've seen what her version looks like, and it's really, really gorgeous. So of course I had to include this pattern on this list. And then next is, from what I can see in Ravelry, from the amount of projects, it's also a very popular pattern, and it's called The Harvest by Tinka Knits. It is also a free pattern. It is a worsted weight, and it has a very interesting feature where it comes with an app available, so you can follow along the pattern, and it has very detailed diagrams and instructions to follow along. And I thought this one was also interesting because it comes with a very thick either button band if you want to add buttons, or you can also just leave it without buttons or use an accessory like one of the models is using in this pattern. And I thought it was a really cool, interesting pattern. I have also seen in some of the projects of some people making these a cropped, more of a cropped version, or making it extra long. So I think it is a versatile pattern that can work in several lengths, and I really like the thick cuffs and like the thick button band that gives it a different, interesting touch. This pattern is, the suggested needles for this pattern are 4 millimeters or US 6 for the main, I think this is for the button band, and then 5 millimeters or US 8 for the main stockinette. It comes in 19 sizes because it comes on baby, junior, and adult sizes, which I thought it was great in one pattern, and it is free. You can get all those options. And the suggested ease is it is like a slightly positive ease or slightly negative ease, so you can do either or. There are models and in this pattern using both options, and it's only like a couple of inches, like 2 inches of either positive or negative ease, which is 5 centimeters. And the suggested yarn, it has a lot of options, but one of the suggested ones is Cascade 220, but it has many others available there. So you can just whatever worsted weight yarn is your favorite. And it comes only in English. And next, I had to include the Romance sweater or the Romance cardigan by Tricot Design MCL because it has these beautiful crochet details. I am originally more of a crocheter before I started knitting. So of course, this is one of the patterns that has caught my attention the most. But perhaps if you don't know how to crochet, it will be a nice pattern to explore some new skills. And it is a basic piece characterized by these feminine details that make it unique. And this is a timeless cardigan that fits well into any wardrobe. And I agree. I think the details on the sleeves and I think it's a more of a either balloon sleeve or more of a, I think it's called the bishop. They're called bishop sleeves. So yeah, they're like a little bit more puffy. I think that detail is gorgeous. And you can also leave out, if you're intimidated by the crochet part, you can also leave out the little scallop details and just leave the ribbed button band. It is knitted top down, and it has also a big neck with the delicate crochet details in the button band. It is a decade weight, and the suggested needles are 4.5 millimeters or US 7 and 3.5 millimeters for the ribbon or US 4, and then the 3.5 millimeter crochet hook for it. It comes on 9 sizes ranging from 85 centimeters or 33¼ inch to 164 centimeters or 64½ inches. The recommended ease is from 0 to 8 centimeters or 0 to 3 inches. The recommended yarn is BFL Steel Sock by Lelaine Millet and Lune by Urso Yarn Co. It is held together, I believe it is a fingering weight and held together with a mohair. And it comes in 2 sizes, English and French. Now, if you're like me and you don't like to just knit plain stockinette patterns, you always like to add something different, something interesting, and experiment with different techniques, then this pattern might be for you. The Majorelle Cardigan by Emily Louise is this beautiful classic cardigan with a small cable detail along the button band and also the raglan increases, and it carries along the side of the body. And it's really this really fine cable detail that makes it look really classic and elegant. It is knitted from top down seamlessly, and we start by knitting the cable raglan yoke with short rows to slightly hollow out the neckline. And it is worked together in the round with cables continuing down to the button band. It is a DK weight, and the recommended needle size is 4 millimeters or US 6 and 3 millimeter needles or US 2.5 for the button band. I also really like the buttons that she selected because they're a little bit smaller, and it makes the whole garment looks more elegant, and this color is just really gorgeous. It comes in 9 sizes, and the finished garment ranges from 103.5 centimeters or 40.75 inches to 164.5 centimeters or 64.75 inches. And the recommended ease is from 15 to 25 centimeters or 6 to 10 inches. The recommended yarn is yarn by Simone MSW fingering and yarn by Simone KMS, which is, I believe, a mohair. So it's just your classic combination of fingering weight plus mohair. and it comes in two languages, English and French. And next we have this really fun pattern, Pivoine Cardigan by Audrey Borrego, and it's also a free pattern, and it has these really beautiful lace details that are along the sleeve and the bottom on top of the hem. That makes it look really interesting, and this bubblegum pink is just so fun that I really loved it. And I also really like the choice of buttons with these really big kind of wooden looking buttons that make the whole cardigan look really casual and really fun. And it's a simple drop shoulder cardigan with a v-neck and these little lace details down the sleeves and along the hem. It has a full video tutorial on how to work the double knitting button band, so in case you're a beginner and you have never knitted a button band and you're intimidated by it, this pattern has a full tutorial for it. And it also has helpful video tutorials on all the other parts that might be challenging. So for a beginner knitter, I always think that having these extra video tutorials makes it more helpful, and you can follow along the pattern and then you learn so much when you watch these ones. And as for the weight, it is a finger to sport weight with suggested needles of 3.25 millimeters or US 3 and 2.5 millimeters or US 2 for the double knitting. So since this is a more thin project, it will take longer to complete, but I think it's worth it because the result is really beautiful. And if it's a more lightweight cardigan, perhaps you can use it for the spring or the summer. So I think it would be perfect on top of dresses or with shorts. I think it'll be really cool for that. And the recommended ease is 15 to 25 centimeters or 6 to 9 3/4 inches. The recommended yarn for this one is Hobby Friends Extra Fine Merino, and it comes in two languages. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention it comes in 10 sizes with the finished garment ranging from 92 centimeters or 36 1/4 inches to 186 centimeters or 73 1/4 inches. And it comes, as I mentioned, in two languages, English and French. And next, we have this really cozy cardigan, my Opa Cardigan, by Lisa Chemery. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name. I'm sorry if I'm butchering any of these names, by the way. I'm trying my best. I believe Opa means grandpa in Dutch and German. So yeah, it's the first thing I can think of when I see this cardigan because it looks so cozy and it has this grandpa style in the best way with the little neck garter shawl collar and the pockets. I think it looks so cozy. And I really like also the burnt orange rusty color that is being used in the sample. And it has some optional hip shaping and two suggested lengths for the pattern. And the collar is worked using German short rows. And there's detailed explanations and a link to a video tutorial provided in the pattern. And this pattern is in iron weight with suggested needles of 5.5 millimeters or US 9 for the main stockinette part and 5 millimeters or US 8 for the collar and button band. It comes in 9 sizes to fit a bust size of 71 centimeters or 28 inches to 162.5 centimeters or 62 inches. The recommended ease is 14 centimeters or 5.5 inches. And the recommended yarn is this, it doesn't really mention a specific yarn, but it says preferably a woolen yarn, so it gives it that nice, comfy, grandpa looking look. And nothing too heavy to avoid stretching. And one of the suggested yarns for the sample was Camaros Sniff Nog, and it comes in English. The language is available. And next, we have this similar pattern, similar in the neck, but actually for the main body, it uses garter stitch. So perhaps you don't want to deal with stockinette because cardigans are mostly knitted in the flat and you don't want to deal with so much purling. So if that is the case, that this pattern might be for you. It is the Cream Cardigan by Alicia Plummer, and it's also this really cozy but slightly more elevated than the one before. With the garter stitch, and the detail of the collar is enribbed, and it's a timeless Cardi featuring this cozy folds garter stitch with a big clean ribbon. I also really like the kind of asymmetrical, well, it is symmetrical if you look at it in the middle, but the ribbed details by the button band. It is a worsted weight, and the suggested needles are 14.5 millimeters or US 7 for the garter stitch, and 3.5 millimeters or US 5 for the ribbon. It comes in 12 sizes for finish garment sizes ranging from 92 centimeters or 36.25 inches to 223 centimeters or 87.75 inches. I think it's great that it comes in 12 sizes. It's good to see a full range here. The recommended ease is 13 to 25 centimeters or 5 to 10 inches, quite oversized to give it that like a slouchy looking fit. And the recommended yarn is Shelter Brooklyn Tweed. It is discontinued, but any other 100% wool will do the work, and you can also choose a tweed yarn if you like the look. And it comes in, this pattern comes in English. Next, we have a couple of patterns that have really fun sleeve details. Oh, hi, Icy. This is Icy. She came to say hi. And next, we have two patterns that have really fun details on the sleeves. And first, we have the Mia Cardigan by Cheryl Mokhtari. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name. It has this beautiful, I think it is a broken rib, or I don't know if it's a cheap with broken ribbed or twisted rib. But I think it's gorgeous, like along the sleeves, and then it also has the same details down the hem and along the side of the body. And it is a spacious cardigan with a simple sleeve and side body design, which is achieved by this rib that I mentioned, and it's worked back and forth from the top down with raglan increases. It says it's a fingering weight, but the recommended yarn is fingering merino held together with a mohair. So I believe that will make it more of a DK weight. So I'm not sure. I was confused by the description. So it's either fingering or DK. And the recommended needles are 4 millimeter or US 6 for the main stockinette, and then 3.5 millimeters or US 4, I believe, for the sleeves, and 3 millimeter or US 2.5 for the double knitted button band. The recommended ease is 21 to 22.5 centimeters of positive ease to make it quite oversized, and it comes in 11 sizes with sizes ranging from 97 centimeters to 150 centimeters. And it comes in 5 available languages: English, Danish, German, Norwegian, and Swedish. And the next cardigan also has really fun sleeve details, and it's called the Pipas Cardigans by Juana Roman. It is a drop shoulder construction with V-neck and textured sleeves alternating stockinette and garter stitch that gives it this really fun kind of effect on the sleeve. It reminds me of like a caterpillar, maybe. But I think, especially in this color, it looks really, really gorgeous in this bright red, like orangey red. It's an Aran weight, and the recommended needles are 5 millimeter or US 8 for the main stockinette and part of the sleeves, and then 4.5 millimeters or US 7 for the rest of the sleeves, and then 4 millimeters or US 6 for the button band. It comes in 7 sizes for chest measurements of 80 centimeters to 140 centimeters. The recommended yarn is West Wool Tandem with West Wool Glow Hair held together. I believe it's wool held together with a mohair. The glow hair, I believe, is a mohair. And the recommended ease is 11 to 33 centimeters of positive ease. And it comes in 2 available languages, English and Spanish. I really like the unique design of the sleeves. I think I'm more used to seeing the sleeves be more plain and stockinette, so I really like when designers play with this design element that make something interesting in the sleeves. And next, if you are the kind of person who's intimidated by button bands, you don't want to deal with placing buttons or knitting the full button band, then I have a couple of patterns for you that are using little bow ties instead of buttons. First, we have the Bambi Bow Cardigan by Famke Mipi the label. And it's this really beautiful feminine cardigan that is oversized with little lacy, I believe it's lace or texture looking details in the shoulders that carry along the sleeve. It is work top down, starting with lace saddle shoulders. So yeah, it is lace. It is a worsted weight with suggested needles of 5 millimeters or US 8 for the main stockinette part, and then 4 millimeters or US 6 for the cuffs, and 3.5 millimeters or US 4 for the neckband and the I-cord ties that go along. I think this pattern is beautiful to be worn in the spring or the summer on top of dresses, and it's the little bow details and the lace make it look extra feminine and delicate. So I'm a huge fan of this pattern. It comes in 10 sizes with ranging bust size of 70 centimeters or 27.5 inches to 160 centimeters or 63.5 inches. And the recommended yarn for this is a Gabo Wool My Time Merino held with Gabo Wool Colorful Baby Brushed Alpaca. And this pattern comes available in English. And then next, we have another very popular pattern, which is the Robinson Wrap Cardigan by Florence Miller, another Florence Miller cardigan. If you can't tell, I'm a huge fan of her designs. This is a beautiful feminine kind of ballerina wrap. She also has another pattern that is slightly longer, so if you are not a fan of the crop cardigan look, you can also check out the other pattern. But it is this cardigan, this wrap cardigan, is soft fitted cardigan with a tie fastening. It is knitted from top down in one piece with a modified raglan construction, and it's finished with a double knitted edge and I-cord ties. It is a DK weight with suggested needles of 4 millimeters and for the main stockinette part, and then 3.5 millimeter needles for the ribbon, the cuffs and the hem, and then 3 millimeter for the double knitting edges. It comes in 9 sizes, ranging from 75 centimeters to 155 centimeters. It doesn't have a recommended ease, but from what I can see here, since it's fitted, it will be very close to zero positive ease. The recommended yarn for this one is Knitting for Olive Merino, held together with soft silk mohair, also by Knitting for Olive, and it comes in English. I really think at some point I need to cast on this project because I'm always looking for cardigans that will look good on top of dresses, even though I don't really have that many dresses to wear, but whenever I wear dresses, I always look for cardigans that look good with dresses, and I think this is a really good option for that. So I think this is one of my top contenders for the cardigans that I'm gonna knit, together with the one that I'm talking about next, which is this beautiful lace cardigan. It's called the Whitmoor Cardigan by Amy Loudon. And it's this gorgeous lace yoke cardigan that has also this bishop or puffy sleeves. I believe it also comes with, it comes with two options for the sleeves. You can either choose to do the regular tapered sleeves or do these bishop sleeves, which I believe it means that it's more tight towards the shoulders, but then they kind of balloon towards the end. And I'm a huge fan of that type of sleeve, if you can tell by some of the suggested patterns I've mentioned in this roundup. This is probably my top contender. I'm just a little bit intimidated by the lace, but it's something I want to work on. I really enjoy the little parts of lace that I've done, and the current whip that I have in progress. I'm doing the Salty Day sweater by Kutova Kika, and it has little pieces of lace, and I have also done a couple of scarves that have lace, and I have really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to knitting a more heavily lace pattern, and I think this is a really good candidate for it. And I also think this pattern will look great on top of dresses, and it's so delicate and elegant looking and feminine, and that I think it will be a really exciting piece to have in my wardrobe. This pattern is a decade weight with suggested needles of 4 millimeters for the main stockinette part, and then 3 millimeter needles or US 2.5 for the, I believe, for the lace part, or it might be for the cuffs, and then 2.75 millimeters or US 2 for the double knitted band. It comes in 10 sizes with finish garment sizing ranges from 80 centimeters or 32 inches to 152.5 centimeters or 61 inches. The recommended is not mentioned, but it doesn't look too oversized, so I will probably need something close to my bust size or maybe slightly oversized just to not be so tight fitting. The recommended yarn is Dandelion and Dogwood Perfect Sock, which is a merino nylon combination held together with Dandelion and Dogwood Fairwood, which is a Suri alpaca silk. So this is also a good alternative if you're sensitive to mohair. It's nice to see patterns that are using other alternative yarn, lace weight yarn. And it comes in 2 languages, English and French. I really think this is a top contender for my next cast on. If not the next one, then the one after that, because that little lace detail is just really gorgeous. And then finally, this is a pattern that comes with a little caveat, because the designer does mention in the pattern that it's not meant to be for beginners, but judging by the difficulty level and by the comments made by other people knitting this, it's not meant to be too complicated. So if you're an adventurous beginner, or perhaps you have knitted quite a few other sweaters and maybe 1 or 2 cardigans, I think this pattern will be a good option for you. It is the Mara Cardigan by Brianna Mason, and it is this gorgeous texture cardigan, and it's achieved with knits and pearls, but it makes the pattern makes it look like it's something more complicated, which I really like. And it's a classic button front raglan cardigan with a simple garter rib texture and a relaxed fit. It's a polished button band, double knitted, and the balloon sleeves that I mentioned I love so much. And this is also a decade weight, and it comes in 10 sizes ranging from 91 centimeters or 35 3/4 inches to 178 centimeters or 70 1/4 inch of bust size. The recommended is 8 inches or 20.25 centimeters of positive ease. And the recommended yarn is We Are Knitters Finita held double. It is available only in English. And as I mentioned, the designer does have a note at the end that it is not meant to be for beginners. And it's assuming some foundational sweater knitting knowledge is had for this. Requires a working knowledge of knitting flat and the round, increasing and decreasing in a pattern, reading a simple chart, picking up stitches, double knitted button band, and Italian bind off. I really think this doesn't sound too complicated. I mean, I've only done one sweater and I'm working on my second one, but none of these sounds too intimidating for me. Maybe I'm just too adventurous, but I think this is totally achievable by an adventurous beginner. And it's a gorgeous pattern that looks way more complicated than what it will be. So if you disagree, please let me know in the comments. Perhaps I'm too ignorant or oblivious on how the complications of this pattern might come to be. But I also checked the difficulty, and it's meant to be like an easy pattern. So I really think it will be achievable. So that's it. That is all the patterns I have for you. I hope you found this video inspiring. And please let me know in the comments which pattern was your favorite, or if you have any other patterns that are recommended for beginners. I can't wait to hear about it. And I'll see you next time. Bye!